Hey everybody, this is Todd Carver from Retül headquarters in Boulder, Colorado. I'm a bike fitter and my job is to make people more comfortable and perform better on their bikes. This is our busiest time of the year. A lot of riders are getting their bikes out, getting them ready for the summer. Other riders are going in to get new bikes, get ready for their summer activities. And detailed scientific bike fit has always been a huge part of that preparation. And in this time of COVID-19, we obviously cannot provide that to the riders. So what we want to do is provide what we can. I've done a lot of bike fits, and I've been around a lot of bike fitters over the years. And I've definitely learned that there's some simple things that they all do, and they all do well. And you might not even notice during the bike fit that they're doing. And these are things that you can be doing at home. So the goal of this video is to teach you guys some tips from a bike fitter of things you can do at home, in your own house, in your own garage with some simple tools to get you in the ballpark of a good bike position on your bike. And then when the shops do open back up and that time comes for you to dial everything in down to the millimeter, we'll be able to do that as well. There's three things I want to teach today that'll get your general bike fit in the ballpark. Number one, proper foot position. Number two, proper saddle position. And finally, number three, proper handlebar position. And when I say proper, that's probably not the right word. It's a ballpark position for all three of those contact points. Let's start with proper foot position on the pedal. I use clipless pedals, so some of you out there will also use clipless pedals. I'm going to teach you how to find the ball of your foot, and then I'm going to teach you how to set the pedal spindle in the middle of the ball of your foot. Some of you out there don't have clipless pedals, you just ride in a normal shoe on a flat pedal, and the key here is make sure when you ride you put the ball of your foot on the pedal. So the ball of the foot, I'm obviously using my hand here, but you've got an inside knuckle and an outside knuckle, and the idea is that should be right on the pedal spindle when you ride. In terms of clipless pedals, it's a little bit more difficult because you have to set up a cleat on that shoe, and we're going to do that right now. So the first step is take one of your shoes and get into your shoe and close it down with whatever closure mechanism you have. Then what you're going to do, and what I like to do, is take a couple little stickers. Take two of them, one for the inside of your foot and one for the outside. What we're going to do is mark the ball of the foot. If you don't have stickers, you can use a marker or something to make a mark on there that hopefully you can remove later. So first step, find the ball of your foot on the inside. Put that marker right on it. Second step, find the same ball of the foot on the outside of your foot and mark that. Okay. Now we're going to take our shoe off. And what you want to do next is find on your cleat where the pedal spindle is. And there's a mark on all cleats. On looks, there's a little notch right here in the middle of the cleat. Same thing on Shimano's. And on speed plays, it's actually easier to find. So just find that little notch, and what you want to do is put that right in between the stickers that you just put on your shoe. And what that'll do is it'll create a neutral cleat position where the pedal spindle is right between the first metatarsal head and then the fifth, otherwise centered on the ball of the foot. The next thing you're going to do is take a tape measure and measure from some point on the heel to the back of the cleat. This here is measuring 14.2 centimeters. So what I'm going to do then is take my other shoe and set that same distance. So once again, this is a ballpark starting point for cleat positions. It's we spend a lot of time during bike fits doing this, but this is something that you can get fairly close at home. The next thing you're going to want to do for cleat settings is to make sure your cleat is set straight forward on the shoe. And the best way to do that is to hang the cleat off some sort of straight edge and look straight on at the shoe and make sure it's not toe out or toe in. Just set it straight. Obviously, there are reasons why a bike fitter would make a change there and set someone into a certain position. But then there's a lot that goes into that in terms of the rider's anatomy and physiology. But in terms of an at-home bike setup, just start with your feet straight and ball a foot on spindle. For the rest of the setup, you're going to want to put your bike in a trainer. And if you do have a 4-foot long carpenter's level, this will come in handy. If not, you can use a tape measure. The first thing we're going to do when we put the bike in the trainer is make sure the axles of the bike are fully level. So I'm going to go down to the axles, put my carpenter's level across them, and make sure they're level to the horizon. And I'm going to adjust my front wheel height with some sort of a block until I get to level. Now that we have the bike level, we're going to start with leveling the saddle and leveling the grips. And by leveling, I don't really mean set them all level, because all saddles have a little different shape and all hoods have a little different shape. This is definitely one of the arts of the bike fit. But when you start at home, there's definitely a good ballpark place to start. And with this particular saddle, it is shaped, so I usually start with it 2 to 3 degrees down. So I've got a little inclinometer here on my iPad that'll help me do that. And if the saddle is more flat, tip to tail, usually what we recommend is 1 degree down. So the reason the shaped saddles are set a little bit more down is because the tails stick up a little bit more, and that creates a little bit more of an angle to the entire saddle. But in essence, what we want to do is level the front 2/3 of the saddle. And an iPhone inclinometer works very well for that. So just put that right across the front 2/3 of the saddle, right where you sit with your perineum, and make sure that's level to the ground. Moving on to grip angle. You can separate a grip, especially on a road bike or a cross bike or gravel bike, into 2 parts. There's a base of the hood and a tower. So there's all different kinds of tower heights, so setting an absolute grip angle is not possible. And also there's a lot of preference here in how you set your grip angle. But what we usually recommend, 99 times out of 100, is this base of the hood has a slight upward angle, so that when you grab it with your hand, you don't have to cock your wrist down, like if it's level. So if it's slightly upwards, it gives you a nice neutral wrist. So start there. So now that we have the saddle angle and the grip angle set, we're going to move on to saddle height. So one of the most important parts of your bike position is to get the saddle height in a good ballpark window so that you can pedal fluidly as you ride. You don't want it too high, you don't want it too low. The best place to do this at home, start with your saddle low, somewhere below your waist, and that will ensure that the saddle is lower than it should be. And then go get a bike kit on, and you're going to come back, and we're going to hop up on the saddle, and I'm going to show you how to set it. Okay, so now we're kitted up, so we're going to complete the bike setup. So let's get your shoes on and get on the bike, and we're going to start with setting our saddle height. Saddle height's a really important thing because you don't want your saddle too high or too low, or else you'll lose efficiency of your pedal stroke and possibly even peak power. So you want to make sure it's somewhere in the ballpark. And the best way to do that is what we call the heel scrape method. So I'm going to get up on the bike. I'm going to start with the saddle low, and then I'm going to hang both my feet down, and I want the heel to scrape the pedal at the very bottom of the pedal stroke. There we go. We will mount the bike. And now, without clipping in, I want to hang both feet straight down and see where I am. So right now, I can firmly push down on the bottom of on the pedal, and I can even bend my knee a little bit. So what this is telling me is I need to raise my saddle height more. So I'm going to start with a centimeter. when you change your saddle height, make sure you get it straight again. So stand behind it and check it. Let's remount. Make sure that's tight. And both feet straight down. It's better, but I can still firmly press on that pedal. So I want a little bit of a gap and I want to barely scrape. So I'm going to raise it another centimeter. Okay, set it straight. Tighten it down. Let's try that again. Back up. Sometimes it helps to click in, to actually get centered on the saddle. Where you want to be. That's where you want to be. Unclick. Feet straight down. Pedal at the bottom. Now I'm barely scraping the pedal. So that's good. The idea is now when I click into that pedal, I've got a nice neutral bend to my knee and ankle. So my extension at the bottom of the pedal stroke is in the ballpark. Okay, so now let's move to the final place of the setup. That's the front end. We have a lot of adjustment here in the front end of the bike. Most stems are angled a little bit, so they can sit either at an up angle or a down angle. This one's at a down angle right now, so I'm going to leave it there for now. And then I've got 3 of my headset spacers under the stem and 1 above. So I'm going to start there for now. And now we're going to see where my handlebar is in relation to my saddle in terms of stack height, so drop. There's an old fit axiom, I think it's from the Italian Fit Bible, that says no handlebar should be greater than a fist width below the saddle. That is one thing that a lot of fitters still use, and it gives us a good window, but that's for a performance position. So what we recommend for a performance position is somewhere between 5 and 8 centimeters of drop as a starting place. Once again, this is a big part of the data-driven bike fit, and we can get angles of the upper body and set things perfectly, but at home you can at least get yourself in the window by making sure you're not outside of those ranges. So let's see where I am. So I'm going to put my level on the middle of the saddle and carpenter's level straight out, and I am going to measure down to the top of my handlebar, and I am at 5.5 or 6 centimeters of drop. So that's right in the middle of the window for a performance position. If you're more of a recreational rider, have more of a recreational focus, we recommend a little higher handlebar. So anywhere from level to the saddle, sometimes handlebars are above the saddle. So start with a level and maybe a little bit of drop. Okay, so now that we have the stack height of the bar and saddle set where we want it, you're going to hop up on the bike and you're going to feel the reach of the handlebar. The only real way to adjust the reach from the saddle to the handlebar is to change the stem. So in extreme cases, you might have to change your stem. During a bike fit process in the studio, we get down to the order of centimeters there. So, but at home you can at least make sure that as you're riding, you feel comfortable in all points of your handlebar. So hoods is definitely your main position, but you want to make sure you can get down to your drops comfortably and make sure you can ride the tops when you're climbing. So just make sure you're comfortable in all those positions, and you're going to be at least in the window of a good bike position. This is not a replacement for a full detailed bike fit. It's just something you can do in the meantime while you're waiting for that to happen. Thanks everybody for listening. Have a great day.